What's up, everybody? It looks like we have technical difficulties already right off the bat. The timing was great though, because we're about to start drafting. So let me screen share while I fix my camera. Bear with me. Here we go. Ninth pick in the draft. Whoop, whoop. We talked yesterday a little bit about how that 5 through 8 is like a death sentence. So ninth is good. Ninth basically means we're going to have two outfielders to get off the ground with. I don't know if this is going to fix anything, but we'll give it a shot. Oop, sorry about that. I cannot fix my camera, so we're going to have to deal with this. Anybody we notice, we recognize? LG, Grew 50. I see that guy a ton. There was a comment after the stream last time, and I just wanted to address it. Excuse me. Someone had commented that they disagreed with me on Alonso and Vientos. And what I want to say is that's great. It's important that we all don't agree. Otherwise, we would draft the same guys all the time. So it's completely okay that we disagree on things, especially because a lot of this is just projection and prognostication. I actually really like Alonso and Vientos, but I don't think that I don't think Alonso, the point was Alonso basically was jumping up 10 picks after he signed with New York, and I thought that was silly. But I guess the argument was he should get more opportunities now with Soto. And I don't feel like the opportunities are the problem with Alonso. I think he just needs to hit better. So, yeah, we'll see if that changes. So I'm at 9th. Gunner just went. I've got my choice of Jordan went 5. That's different. I've got my choice of Corbin Carroll, Fernando Tatis. On the infield side, Jose Ramirez is still there. I'm actually going to go Tatis here. I normally go Tatis over Corbin Carroll. I'm in the minority on that. But, two reasons. One, I think this is going to be a nice season for Tatis. And two, although Corbin did have a great second half last year, he's just a small guy, and I always get worried about those guys breaking down. So I'm just kind of hedging here a little bit. That's all. Like I said, I'm in the minority. Normally people want to go Corbin over Tatis, which is totally okay. So I'm going to be able to grab Churrillo here. So we'll go Tatis and Churrillo. Yeah, it definitely sounds like my my computer's working overtime. It's like, so sorry about that. So when we come back here, 33, normally when I pick 9 through 12, I'm just stacking outfielders. So 33, I'll probably end up with like Ian Happ and Brian Reynolds at 33 and 40. We'll see how it plays out. I may end up having to overdraft a guy to make sure I get 2 outfielders there. But I tend to target Happ, Steer, and Reynolds. I don't have any problem with Santander or Harris. I'm a little concerned about Harris's ability to stay healthy. But I normally don't get a lot of guys that drop that far down. So like an Austin Riley, who's a really nice pick in the Eliminator, just because the Braves play everybody every day, doesn't really come into play as much because he's typically gone by the I'll miss him by a pick or two. So for surprise, Devers goes 22nd. I'd say that's the probably not the first surprise. We saw Jordan go 5th. So we'll see how this plays out. Apparently my dog is sleeping, so you may hear that. Totally okay. Pretty normal stuff, but if you hear some odd noises, it's not my stomach. Okay, Skeens went all the way to 24. He normally does not go that far. John B, that must have been the guy who was making the comments, right? John B takes Alonso at 23. That's huge. So that's going to free up a couple picks for me between Alonso and Devers going that early. Ooh, and then we see Wheeler go at 26. So John is I do know that guys sometimes will draft and try to manipulate draft position by taking players considerably earlier. Maybe he just really loves Wheeler. That could be a possibility. Oh, we're almost on the board. Okay, let's see what our options are. Bryce Harper is going to be there. Brent Rooker just got picked. Okay, there goes Scooble, who would have been a really nice get. I do like Harper here. You know, I don't take Teo a lot because I feel like he's overdrafted at the front end, but I think at the back end, it's actually pretty solid. I'm going to take Bryce off. I'm going to go Teo here. And like I said, I normally don't draft Teo. I feel like last month I was able to take him a few times because he was still going in the 40s. But you see him go like mid 20s, early 30s. And normally he wouldn't even get to me at that spot. So what I'm going to be looking to do here is we see that the turn goes and it's Santander and Happ. I'm going to be looking to go Brian Reynolds and Spencer Steer. Now, James Wood is still on the board. Average draft position of 33. But for me, because this is Eliminator, I'm concerned about consistency. And I want guys to be able to put up numbers on a regular basis. Rookies obviously go through a lot of slides. Oof. Okay, so Spencer Steer just got picked. Yeah, okay, so we're going to take James Wood. Probably the second time I've taken Wood. But at 40, I can stomach it a little more. Just like Teo at 33, I can stomach that a little more. I would have ideally liked to have Reynolds or Steer. News just came out that Steer's got a bit of a touchy shoulder. So they're going to DH him during spring, or at least at the start of the spring. So makes me a little anxious because I have a ton of Steer exposure. But in the Eliminator, like I said, you typically want to get guys who are more consistent, which is why I stay away from rookies. Getting guys like Steer, Reynolds, Happ, Santander, not that they don't have their streaks, but they're just a little more consistent. You don't worry about them as much when they're in a bit of a rut. Like this guy took Lawrence Butler 41. That's pretty brave. But that's the game, right? Unlike the regular best ball, like dinger and solo shot and whatnot, the big difference with Eliminator is you can go real high upside guys, and you can take injury prone guys like Trout and Luis Robert, and somewhat unproven guys you're a little hopeful about like Lawrence Butler. But if you get a couple injuries early and Lawrence Butler starts off slow, team's gone. So it just takes one bad week. And if So we'll see how that plays out, because especially with this guy, this JM Peterson 09, who's drafting right next to me, he went infield. His top outfielder's Butler, and I'm already 4 outfielders in. Obviously, I'm not worried about pitching. I'm not worried about infield initially. But, we'll see how this kind of plays out here. I'm at 57. I got to start queuing up some guys. So I'm going to queue up a Rosarena just in case he falls. And Suzuki. Don't love any of these infielders. So we're going to pass on all these infielders, both directions. There are a ton of starting pitchers that I absolutely love right here. Crochet, Gilbert, Cole, Burns, Reagans. So we'll see how this plays out. Marcus Simeon goes early again at 50. But like I said, any of these infielders, like I like Albies, but I get worried about the injuries. Owen Cruz tends to be very inconsistent. Jose Altuve, injuries. I really like Christian Walker this year. Really, really like Christian Walker. But I don't like him enough that I'm going to overpick for him. When I can, especially if I can use some picks here. There goes Crochet. So a Rosarena is going to be my guy. If a Rosarena is gone, I could go Suzuki, but I have those 3 stud pitchers who are staring at me. And I'm also looking at what the guys have done after. So we've got 3 outfielders, 2 outfielders, 3 outfielders, no pitchers. So the likelihood that one of these guys takes a pitcher is really high. Okay, so my plan was a Rosarena. Rosarena got snatched. Why am I not seeing Garrett Cole? There he is. Okay, I'm going to go Logan Gilbert. Am I though? No, I'm going to go Garrett Cole. I'm going to go Garrett Cole. If one of those pitchers comes back at 64, which they likely will not, especially given the fact that the 3 guys drafting behind me have not selected a pitcher yet. But if one of these 3 guys, Gilbert, Burns, Reagans, comes back, I'll take one at 64. Otherwise, I've got Suzuki keyed up. There's a small chance he comes back. And I need to plan for what if all of these guys are gone. So my plan, if all these guys are gone, is Brenton Doyle. Okay. And all these guys are gone. So I'm sitting on Doyle right now. If he's gone, I'm going to take Cowser. And yes, Christian Walker is there. O'Neal Cruz is there. Jose Altuve is there. Okay, I'm going to go Brenton Doyle. I really love Cowser, but yeah, we're going Doyle. I think Doyle's still going in the right direction, and with the games in Denver, gives me a little more confidence. Plus, he hits at the top of the lineup. Yada yada yada. So my outfield is Tatis, Churio, Teo, Wood, and Doyle. That's pretty comfortable for me right now. If somebody comes back to me at 81 like Quan, then I'll have to strongly consider that. But for the most part right here, I'm going to be looking at like George Kirby. So I'm going to start queuing up guys that I'm interested in. Also, CJ Abrams. He's going to be a possibility for me. Chris Sale, I don't know how he stays at an ADP of 70. I see him get drafted close to 80 most of the drafts I'm in. With that being said, he'll probably get drafted earlier than that just because I'm jinxing it. But after that, so I'm going to queue up Kirby, Framber, Logan Webb, and Imanaga. There's a bunch of guys in here that I don't necessarily feel really comfortable with, like Yamamoto, Sasaki, DeGrom, Strider. Just because if all those guys are red flags for injuries for me. And unless you're going to stack pitchers, which typically you don't, I do occasionally, but I do it because I'm just hunting 2 starts, not because I'm trying to actually stack pitchers. When it comes to Eliminator, though, if if you end up if you only draft 6 and you go down 2, all of a sudden you're not going to get. There's a possibility you're not going to get more than one 2-start starter, and you're going to have to rely on 4 to be able to carry you. That gets real. What's the word I want to use here? Shaky. Okay, Quan. There goes Kowser at 72. Quan at 73. Oof. So I apologize, guys. I have not been able to get this cam to work. So I know we've got that split screen. By the way, if you're in here, it looks like we do have some people in here. Feel free to pound the like button, drop a comment. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself. 81, like I said, I'm going to try to target pitching, not expecting any outfield help. I'll just keep rolling on that outfield spot. Small chance I take Taylor Ward at 88. So keep in mind, this is Eliminator. This is not regular full season ball. So decisions are going to be made differently here. Okay, there goes Yamamoto. So I still have a bunch of my guys here. And like I said about Sale, he's still around. Okay, there goes Abrams. I don't necessarily want to take Sale, but it's kind of hard to pass him up when he drops to 81. Okay, so I'm going to take Sale here. Just because, what do you do, right? And then when it comes back, well, let's just see what happens when it comes back. I have a bunch of pitchers queued up. I do have Vientos. I do have Naylor. There's not a lot of infielders selected behind me. You know what I didn't see? I'm just noticing it now. Luis Robert is still on the board. Not on the board now, but he was still on the board. And the fact that I did not see that until too late, massive misfire. Builders have moved on. But so that's a bummer. And I know that I said that I do stay away from guys with injury concerns, but at that point, we can take Robert and you've already got a secure outfield. I really look at having 4 solid guys, and Tatis, Churio, Teo, and Doyle do that for me. Okay, there goes Kirby. That was my dude. Okay, Naylor went. Vientos went. So for me, I'm looking at Framber Valdez right now. Taylor Ward is on the board, but I think I'm okay without him. Michael King. It looks like El Groove 50 is actually on auto pick, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay, so I'm going to go Framber. Yeah, it does look like he's on auto pick, huh? No, he can't be, because he would have taken, I mean, unless he set up his preferences. Because he wouldn't have let James Wood get to 40. Okay, how are we looking? All right, I'm not trying to ignore you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. When I get a moment, I will definitely get into it. We had a nice little pitcher run here. Logan, Sasaki, Imanaga, Ryan, Freddie Peralta. I'm going to pull this out. I'm sure you guys can still hear me just the same. I just can't hear myself. It does not look like I'm going to be able to get this webcam to work, so I don't know what the deal is. Okay, there goes McLean. I mean, I'd love to be able to get Bregman here at 105, but Tovar works well for me too. There's Goldie, 98. Yeah, Bregman or Gallon. That's typically the direction I like to go here. We still have Casas up there. Bregman. I don't normally take Lane Thomas. He's there at night right now. My boy Gallon also there. Take a quick peek, see what's going on behind me. 233, 224 behind me too. Can't believe I missed out on Luis Robert. I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. Okay, so we're at 105, and I have an opportunity here to take Casas. I'm going to end up missing on Galen. That's okay. Let me go Casas here. And then I'm going to hope he's back. And if not, then I'll take Tovar at 112. And if not, then I'll take Adley. So we'll see. 6 picks. There are Chapman, Bregman, Tovar, the top 3 infielders on the board. Lane Thomas, Soler, and Ramos are the top outfielders. There goes Lane Thomas. The top 3 pitchers are Gallon, Schwellenbach, and Hunter Brown. Okay, so there goes Bregman at 109. There goes Gallon. So Tovar or Adley is the direction I'm going to be heading in right now. Now I'm going to be going, in case you haven't noticed, Casas was my first infielder. So I'm going to end up going heavy on my infield at some point, probably somewhere in the 7 range, which isn't abnormal. But, okay, there goes Tovar, so I'm going to take Adley. That's just the way it goes. Okay, Bo Bichette. Would love to see Bo with a bounce back. So ideally, I would have saw Westburg back. Now the hope is that I can get Vinny back at 129. Strange. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm still trying to get this camera to work. Okay, we're 2 picks away. I should probably get things together on my end. We're looking for fielders. Vinny went at 124. Royce Lewis is still there. Paredes, Volpe. I do like Bryce Miller here. But we need guys that can hit. Now, Royce Lewis is obviously a guy who gets the injury bug. Ton of upside. I'm willing to take my risk here, especially because I know I'm going to take 7 infielders. But if I take Royce Lewis, then I'm almost always going to take 7 infielders. It's just a bit of a trust issue. So I've got Paredes queued up and Bryce Miller. You've got Bibby on there. He's a little inconsistent. Gray's a little more consistent. Gossman had a rough year. He just got picked. So I don't have to worry about that. There goes Paredes, so I don't have to worry about that. I did not look to see if my boy Carpenter is available. Really like Kerry Carpenter this year. So if Bryce gets picked, I'll take Carpenter. If he does not, then I'll take Bryce. Bryce is really solid for best ball. 18 quality starts last year. Obviously not huge K numbers, but the guy will consistently give starts, quality starts. And that's important, especially because I've got Chris Sale, and I do worry about Chris Sale's ability to stay healthy. Okay, so I'm going to take Bryce Miller. So my pitching staff looks really clean. Cole, Sale, Valdez, and Miller. Obviously worry about Chris Sale's injury issues. He's got that old man back. Would have loved to have taken Kerry Carpenter, but it is my 6th outfielder, so I'll end up looking. I might take like a TJ Friedel at 160 or see if Brandon Donovan comes back to me at 177. But I do need to step up on my infielders. Costas, Adley, and Royce are really promising, but I need to start chasing guys who I feel can put up 1,200 points, like Nico Horner, who's not going to be sexy, but will just put up points consistently and steal bags. All right, so we're in the 12th round right now. If you're just jumping in, we started out 9th. I apologize, the camera's not working. But we're just trying to muscle up through here. I went, if you want to look at my my draft here, I went outfield. James Wood dropped down to 40, so I snatched him up, mostly because Steer and Reynolds were picked already. Garrett Cole came along. I could not resist Garrett Cole. Went Doyle for my 5th outfielder. Sale dropped all the way down 11 spots, so I ended up taking Sale. Came back around. I wanted Kirby, had to settle for Valdez. Then it was time to, so the 9th round, I've got 5 outfielders, 3 pitchers. Needed to start making some changes for the infield, so I went Casas, Adley. Royce Lewis came back to me, and then I jumped in with another pitcher. So right now, I'm going to be looking at taking 7-7-6. 7 pitchers, 7 infielders, 6 outfielders. So if you are, so now you're all caught up. If you have any questions or you just want to say hi, feel free to drop in the chat box. I will definitely get an opportunity to look here as I'm clicking around. Flaherty at 147. Okay. That's a thing. Okay, so it's coming my way. I'm gonna pick 153. Jackson Holiday just got snatched off the board. Luis Ariz is a guy I normally take around here just because he puts up points. He's consistent. It's annoying, but in the Eliminator, he's great. I normally don't take him in the full season best ball, but in the Eliminator, he's going to be able to contribute. And all I need him to do is set a solid floor for the week. That's it. So if he sets a solid floor and he's scoring 30 points in a week, 40 points in a week, then as long as ideally he's not one of the top three, I'm in a great spot. But if a couple guys get injured or maybe a team has a 5-game week, Luis Ariz comes in pretty handy in those situations. So when it comes back, I'm actually going to be looking at a couple guys here. The top 3 ADP pitchers right now are Jones, Gill, and Gore. I'm a big Gore guy myself. I do really like Jared Jones. And all 3 of these guys I've taken a pretty decent amount of times. The only reason I lean towards Gore is because this is going to be his 3rd full season. So I feel like there's just a little more consistency there. They should have a bit of a better lineup. He does play in a nice pitcher's ballpark. Gill was great, though. And I think Jones was great until they started to shut him down a bit. He's got a ton of upside. I just don't love Jones for Eliminator. Okay, Evan Carter at 159. That's a great steal. That's 14 points lower than his ADP. So I'm going to go with Mackenzie Gore here. And that's going to give me Cole, Sale, Valdez, Miller, Gore for my pitchers. And you know what's coming. I'm going to start going much harder here with the infielders. And I do need to keep an eye on the outfielders, TJ Friedel and Brendan Donovan. All right. Yeah, if you guys hear that, wow, that's just my the fans on my laptop doing work. So don't worry, not going to fly away. We're still putting in work here. Interesting. Okay. Once again, I apologize. For some reason, I screwed something up and wasn't able to get the camera to work. I feel like it was a permission issue. But without having to see me today. Live commentary. Interesting. All right. Don't mind me. I'm just clicking around a bit, trying to see what I did wrong here. All right. So I did say we were going to start going heavier on the infielders. I do have 2 of those outfielders queued up. There's 5 picks. I've got 2 outfielders. Nathaniel Lowe, Ryan McMahon are queued. Nico Horner, Jeremy Pena. So what you do with these infielders, a bunch of guys that can drop 1,200 points. We're looking at McMahon, who over the last 3 seasons has scored at least 1105. Nathaniel Lowe was hurt last year, but prior to that, previous 3 seasons, all over 1,200. Nico Horner, last year at 1193, previous season 1374. Jeremy Pena, last year at 1172, previous season 1117. So you kind of have an idea of the value that you're getting on the back end. So Brendan Donovan, who dropped 1100 last year and is going to hit at the top of that lineup in St. Louis, snuck down to me at 177. So that's always kind of like my sneaky 6th pick is typically TJ Friedel or Brendan Donovan. They both hit leadoff for their respective teams in a division that tends to have more hitter-friendly ballparks. And then after that, I feel like there's a little bit of a wave you can run into with like Conforto, as long as he can stay healthy. Jake McCarthy could be interesting if he does play every day. Jesus Sanchez, Garrett Mitchell, even potentially like Joe Adell. But what we do know is that I need infielders. Right now, the pitching looks solid on my team, but I'm going to end up missing out on that little run of like Bassett, Evaldi, Tanner Hawk. Might be able to get Pepe when he comes back. So a couple infielders were taken. Tommy Edmonds, Xavier Idris. There goes Nathaniel Lowe. I'm going to go McMahon. So let me look back. For a second, I thought I had 3 Rockies, but I ended up missing Tovar by 1 pick. So not that I typically love to stack Rockies in Eliminator, but actually I don't like to stack Rockies in Eliminator. I don't like to do too much stacking at all in Eliminator. But whereas if you're doing full season best ball, you can go ahead and stack guys. So if you have certain teams you like, the Dodgers are obviously really hard to stack because once you get Ohtani, it's impossible to get bets. And you may be able to end up with Freeman if you get lucky. And I want to say I saw one guy pick Ohtani, Freeman, and Teo. And you can do that. And then later as it moves around, you can try to go after guys like Edman and Muncy and Conforto, even Will Smith. But it's a lot of infielders in this round. They just annihilated. It's all infielders and pitchers, which is really unfortunate for me, right? For some reason, I'll tell you, this is my 4th draft today, my 4th Eliminator draft today. And I want to say my first one was pretty solid. My next 2 were great. And I felt like, okay, you know what? I have a little time because I'm kind of on call today. And I'm like, I've got a little time. Let me do a stream for one of these drafts. Plus, I've been drafting really well. So we do this, and just like yesterday, things kind of like go off the rails a little bit. And not that this draft has gone off the rails like yesterday. Yesterday was a dumpster fire. I just lit $10 on fire, basically. But the fact that James Wood dropped to me was kind of weird. All these infielders were getting annihilated. My pitching's not bad, but it's definitely not where I want it to be right here. Evaldi might get to me. Okay, there's a chance Evaldi gets to me. I don't love any of the pitchers like directly behind him. So keep in mind, I'm done with outfielders. My infielders right now, the top three are Bogaerts, Will Smith, Nolan Arenado. I do have Bogaerts queued up, although I get very worried about his wrist. So I'm going to take Evaldi. One's pretty solid. I do still want one more pitcher. I'll probably queue up like Merrill Kelly or Michael Wacha. We'll have to see how that looks. Bowden Francis is there. Brady Singer could be interesting. I really don't like him in that ballpark. My guy Pivetta, if Pivetta comes back at 225, I'll definitely take him. As soon as Pivetta signs, he's going to start going probably in the 180s. But for some reason right now, everybody's a little antsy. Like he's going to sign with the Rockies or something. I don't understand why people are so antsy. I mean, he pitched in Boston, which is a fairly fair ballpark. If anything, it's pitcher friendly. I feel like Pavetta's a pretty bet. He's just got to stay healthy, and you don't want him to report to camp too late. So hopefully him and his agent will work that out. I know there was a little rumor about the Padres signing him. So him pitching in Petco would obviously be a really nice boost. But I have a ton of Pivetta exposure. A ton. For 60%. Okay, so my infielders are getting a little annihilated right now. The top three are Smith, Arenado, and Bryce Terang. The fourth one is Wilson Contreras, who I think is a fantastic pick this year because he's going to play first base, and the guy can swing it. So I feel like he's a 1,200 point guy. I know Terang can be a 1,200 point guy. Let me get a refresher. So I'm on the Fangraphs website, the roster resource section, and they've got Terang hitting 7th, which I don't love, but the guy's going to steal 50 bases, so I do that part of it. Okay, so I'm going to skip on Will Smith and skip on Nolan Arenado because I think he's dust. And we're going to go Bryce Terang. All right, so now we're rolling sixes right now, pitcher, infield, and outfield. So when I target 225 when it comes back, it's going to be one pitcher, one infielder, ideally a Nick Pivetta, and I like to target Michael Busch here. So we'll see how that plays out. And the guys behind me, let's see. So has 4.59, so he's obviously auto drafting. The Legend and B Stuff both are the same as I am right now at 666, so they can go any direction. So I'm going to jump in a view for the next little eliminator. We're closing in on 70% for the eliminators, though, the little ones. Okay, so we're only 2 away. What's going to happen here, I'm going to end up, as soon as we wrap my picks up at 232, I'm going to end up shutting this stream off and try to fire up a new stream, and hopefully I get the camera to work. We'll do back-to-back drafts. if I could have got the camera to work, we would just roll through the next one, but unfortunately, it's just not the case. Iggy, what's up, man? Good to see you, Flores. My guy. It's been too long. Miggy, are you in Arizona? Okay, this second draft is about to start. No, Florida. All right, sorry, Miggy. Somebody, I can't remember who's in Arizona. Because I'm going to be taking people out to go to the spring training complex out here in Goodyear. So if you were here, I was going to tell you, come out. I'll take you out to a game. So if you come out, I'll take you out to a game. So the next draft is kicked off. I am pick 11. Not a big surprise going from pick 9 to pick 11. I don't know why Underdog kind of has that issue, but I think I've gone 15 drafts in a row without picking 1 or 2 at this point, just because I'm caught in the back, which I'd rather be all the way in the front or all the way in the back. I don't want to be in the middle on these drafts. But I'm going to make these 2 picks, and then we'll shut this stream off. I'll start a new stream. Hopefully the camera will work, and we'll mid-draft on the new draft. Pick 11, which means probably going to go Tatis or Jordan, whoever slips down. So Contreras just went. Okay, Pavetta is there, so that's good news for me. Unfortunately, Bush did get picked at 219, so I got to find myself an infielder real quick. Probably Andres Jimenez. Could go Andrew Vaughn. How do my guys look here? Casas, Adley, Royce, Luis, McMahon, Turang. Yeah, I don't love it, but I'm going to go. I'll go Jimenez here and just hope he has a nice season with Toronto. They made some decent additions. They have him slated to hit 7th. Yeah, but they also have Springer slated to hit 1st, and we saw how that went last year. So, and I think Jimenez actually hits in the top 2 spots really well. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, it has been a minute. I'm almost on my I think I actually hit 100 drafts today. So I've been doing a ton of drafts. I just haven't felt like streaming, and I didn't want to have to set everything up. So I said, you know what? Let's just stream. Let's do it. All right. So I'm going to make this Jimenez pick. I'm going to cancel this stream. Flores, if you have time, jump into the new stream. It's going to take me a minute to get it going. A minute. All right, cool. That's going to do it. Jimenez is my last pick. All right, guys. Give me a minute to swap this out.